Decision number 9. 9 seconds excised.
Nothing else we have to grill that, which to me, like all that stuff that like weekend, that Sunday intelligence thing about what they're doing to the wall, they're doing the Autobahn, and shipping the fighters and all the rest, sounds to me like it's
We have, as I told President this morning, my understanding is the Berlin Task Force is working hard on the whole business of it after an announcement of a peace treaty. On the other hand, I'm inclined to think Thompson is trying to get back on 6. But his assessment from Copenhagen, you see that in your reading, that on the whole, Khrushchev doesn't want to cry.
Now, Ed said something to me on Sunday about sending Jim Lowe back there, and I said, well, he's the son, not ready. He said, well, it's better to have them declare him the son of McGrath. I don't think that's so. They'd have to withdraw him. I don't think we ought to send Lowe back there. We've got to get his family out there, put the charge in there, and send him ambassador.
Why don't we live with the charges for a while?
I think the question really ought to be whether we sign send Jim anyplace else or whether he retires and becomes. I think probably we ought to offer him some good run or something or not.
Did Bill Arras get a chance to speak to you about Canada this morning?
No, I asked Ralph Duncan.
If Collins is turned down, we're going to have one more request, which was to see whether, what's his name, Goodwin House Law School wants to go.
Does he have to go? You might want to check that, but then I asked Bill to check that.
He'd want to go to Australia, which we didn't do. And otherwise, I was sending Korea there.
Be fine if he wanted to go. But I would think that since he had a special interest in Australia and was lukewarm about that.
Or was he?
Yes, he was. We touched base with him.
Go back and check him out today. Otherwise, I suppose we can actually go, we can go to Korea. Yeah, that Iranian did not impress me. That fellow we had in Iran, we get to see me right out of that school. Iranian stash, no, our master to Iran.
You call him? I mean,
In Iraq.
Journey. Well, it depends on how you look at it, Mr. President. It's different contacts.
He did one thing, Mr. President. He never got into a lather over the fact that these relations were going sour, and never became their man. In a rather difficult period.
I agree. I understand that I can't judge these things.
I've known Johnny for quite a long time, and if the situation where there's real trouble, I'd rather have him there than
If the Foreign Service knew how much you plead their case over here, Mr. Secretary, you'd be
No,
I'd just like to have, who is on the selection board now this year? It's our man.
Well, you mean selecting a chief of mission?
No, the new one.
the promotions.
Oh, the promotion.
And the recruits, commissions.
Oh, well, they've got a whole series of boards, different grades. Each one of them has public people.
Yeah, but I'd like to take a look at the ones that did people coming in. I just see an awful lot of fellas who I think.
You mean the
Let's
class
raise the crowd.
Class A people?
Well, I don't think so. I've seen that, cojones. As a group, if I had to generalize, you never want to generalize. Now, the defense population, that's all they've got. They got every brains. But I mean, now we get a combined figure. That's really the problem. They all come in, even though group of us and fellows in Sudan.
As not group officers,
Right, fellow, they just, round, just a very rural figure, that's all. And maybe that serves